Welcome back, guys, to, I believe, episode 12 of the High Performance Cricket Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jason Cox, and today in the show, we're going to look at how to maximise your training week, how to squeeze the lemon as much as you possibly can and get all that juice out of it so you can perform the best that you possibly can and ultimately get better faster. Get better as fast as possible. And there's a lot of different things that go into this. Is like a bit of like load monitoring sort of stuff or load management stuff. It's how to incorporate some athletic development work into your cricket trainings. There's stuff around how to do your gym sessions and how to best balance that across the week and all those sorts of things. And then we can also touch on some off-season strategies and how to plan your off-seasons and get the most out of that. And then also, when you're in rehab as well and not playing, how can you still train and do as much as you possibly can, even when you're injured as well? So a lot to get into when it comes to that stuff and how to maximise your training week. But just like with everything, it's all going to be individual to you. There's no one way to skin a cat, and there's a lot of ways to maximise performance and get the most out of yourself as well. So these are just from my experiences that I've seen, but it's also important to think about keeping it in the context of you and what makes you tick and all those good things. Recording this a day earlier today on a Wednesday. I will be jetting off to Airlie Beach this Friday, which I'm very excited for. Got myself a very early start in the morning, 4:30 start in the morning, and we're jetting off to Airlie Beach until, I believe, Monday morning we're heading back, and I should be back here for Monday afternoon. Will be quite a solid little trip, I believe. So I've been going with the boys who play footy with this year, boys back home in Kooyurup, and we're off for a footy trip. So should be a good bit of fun. Got ourselves a bit of a boat party, I believe, on the Saturday, which should be interesting. So the joint that we've booked it through has teed us up with a private boat that we're going on. BYO drinks on the boat, so it should be quite enjoyable actually. So we'll get stuck into that. I think it's about 14, 15 of us going. All the boys, all the best mates who I grew up with. So should be a whole lot of fun. But apart from that, I've had actually quite a nice week of training as well. So I'm just into week 2 of my speed training and really starting to see some good improvements as well. Really starting to understand the positions I should be hitting. Starting to really feel my first 20 metres really starting to improve as well. So it doesn't take too long once you get into some structured training that you actually start to feel a lot better. And as you guys would have known who've either been listening to the pod or have been watching the old YouTube videos back in the day, the behind the scenes YouTube videos, the weekly vlogs, that you know that my knee has not been good since I ran my half marathon back in July. And I was just getting too greedy with my rehab. I was biting off more than I could chew. It was feeling good, so I'd do too much, and I was too emotionally invested in it. I wasn't being very smart when it comes to my rehab. But now, my sprint coach is also an osteo, so he's taking care of that, managing my fitness and my conditioning running as well. And lo and behold, the old Brett Lee, the knee, is feeling absolutely $1,000,000. One thing he also uncovered as well is that obviously I've got a deficiency between right and left, but it's also a side that I had a foot stress injury on back when I was 18 years old. And he reckons that back from that injury, I probably didn't do the rehab well enough, and I've got some deficiencies in range of motion and strength and how my foot operates. So we're doing a lot of foot strengthening work. I think it's a very underrated thing of performance, how your foot functions as well. Really interesting as well, because I had that osteo appointment at the start of the week, and then I listened to a podcast yesterday on Noel Lyles' performance physio, and he had the same sort of thing, that his foot and his ankle and calf strength was absolutely horrible a couple of years ago, and that didn't allow him to hit certain positions and be as efficient. He was leaking so much energy through one of his sides, and he was obviously already running very fast. It was top 5 in the world or something like that, but that was, he credited that he's winning the Olympics to him, to that physio working with him and identifying these little weaknesses in his performance and that. So absolutely crucial to underlook the foot and ankle strength. And I might have to make a video about that as I sort of delve into that more myself and as I develop more experiences with that too. So really interesting when it comes to that. But yeah, pretty busy week for me as well. I had a meeting over in India last night, 8:30 start, 8:30 to about 9:45 at night, and then up for 6:30 calls this morning. So a bit weary. A few coffees to get me through today, but should be pretty good. And then also trying to get work done before I head away on Friday. So I know Monday is going to be an absolute write-off for me. I'm probably going to be quite tired. So how can I get my Monday work done this week and also my Friday work done this week as well? So that's my plan over the next couple of days, is to just absolutely smash out work and get things planned out. Usually I do my content planning on a Monday and my scripts for the reels. So what I'll do, I've got a spreadsheet and I'll put in all the reels I'm going to record, and I just write down what some of the key points I'm going to say on the Monday, record them on a Tuesday, edit on the Wednesday, and then schedule them out on the Thursday so they're ready to go. And then if anything goes wrong, I've got the Friday as a makeup day or a spare day. Think of it if you get the World Cup final rained out, you got a spare day to get it done. So that's sort of how I structure my weeks from a content perspective. So that's my plan today, is to actually get my not next week, the week after's Instagram scripts done as well. So I'm going to be really, really ahead of the game, which is good. Nice to know. And it's just proof if I can get it done this week, I might be able to get it done every single week. So maybe I can get double the content out if I really, really want to push it. If I really, really do. So that's almost like I like to see a positive from having a shorter week sometimes, that you really get to see how much work you can get done if you're really good to get it done. So I'm going to explore some of that this week and really see if I can see if I can actually be a bit more productive on a weekly basis, which should be good, which should be really, really exciting. Plan to get up to the Junction Oval this afternoon as well and watch the Vicks play. They're currently batting. I was hoping they're going to declare and send in Tassie, because I wouldn't mind seeing the boys have a bowl. That's what I want to do. But at the moment, they're still batting. 7 for 350 at the moment. Pez and Ferg batting right now, both 20 not out. This Victorian team is crazy young. I was counting before, it was 8 blokes that I'll consider mates all playing this team, who I grew up playing with and against. It's absolutely crazy. We've got Ash Chandra Singh opening up, Callaway at 3, Tommy Rogers, a couple years older than me, but still sort of know him a little bit around the traps. Harp's absolutely great, man. Sammy Elliott, Mitch Perry, Ferguson Neal, Todd Murphy, Ken McClure, all in and around my year levels, going through the junior cricket pathway and that. So it's absolutely sick to see these lads go on and actually start properly playing Victoria, when I've sort of known them since we were 15 years old, trying to make it. I even knew Chandy when we were at 12 years old at the Casey South Melbourne Academy. He had the most solid technique in the world back then. Nice to see he's still going now. And even seeing Toddy back when he didn't even bowl off spin, and now he's absolutely taking the piss. So it's good to see these lads going well. I'm hoping they declare, so I can go and see Cam and Pez and Toddy and Sammy and Ferg have a trundle later on, which would be absolutely elite. But this is 11 o'clock right now. I've got to be back at the gym around about 3:30 for the coaching session, and I also wouldn't mind getting a haircut in at some stage as well before I head away. But I'm just looking at my calendar now. Maybe if I can try and squeeze a haircut in sometime tomorrow, that might be my best play. But it's all up in the air at the moment. It's all up in the air. Trying to find the best way to get everything done is interesting. So going into the career today might cost me on getting something done. But we can digress, and we can see how the rest of the week unfolds from there. But in terms of getting the most out of your training week, we're going to start in season, and the goal of that is to explore the balance of performance and recovery, so not burn out and fatigue, but also train really hard and get the most out of it. And I've touched on previous podcasts before, but utilizing the high-low model is so important as well. So thinking about our high training days are the days where we're doing our heavy fitness work, we're sprinting, we're doing heavy strength training, things that are really heavily fatiguing. And then our low days, where we're doing things that aren't heavily fatiguing. Think batting the nets. Think stationary fielding. Think maybe some off-legs conditioning, like a bike session. Some mobility, maybe an upper body session or an accessory gym session working on our smaller, more isolated muscles. Things that aren't really globally fatiguing. And something I've really been taking notice of with the sprint training I've been doing is that I really do notice a difference the day after a high day at the moment. So my high days, I'm sprinting, doing some high intensity interval training for my conditioning, and then going in doing my heavy strength work where I'm doing, heavy deadlifts, doing 2 and 3 rep sets, doing heavy step ups. I'm doing my plyometrics and power work, and the day after that, I'm absolutely zapped. No energy. No matter how well I sleep, I'm zapped. And it's really important that we respect that recovery process and allow us to have high and low days, so that when we come out of those low days, that we're feeling fresh and we can really attack those high days full on and we actually get the most out of them. That's important for someone who's like, let's say you want to bowl faster. You don't want to go into a session where you're trying to bowl fast fatigued, because then you're not going to bowl fast. And then if you're not actually bowling fast, then your body won't adapt to bowling faster. Yes, you might feel like, I'm working hard, I'm always sore, I'm tired, but it's easy to make someone tired, but it's not that easy to make someone better. That's the key difference there. So understanding your energy levels and understanding when you want to have a high day, when you want to have a low day. And typically you want to have high days, on the days that you're training, on your main cricket sessions. Those are really, really important. Now, some people can't tolerate super, super high days. So some people can't tolerate gym in the morning, then cricket in the afternoon. And that's okay. Some people can. Typically, I found that the more athletic people struggle to back up and do those sessions because they're so fast twitch. And if you have more of a fast twitch muscle fiber makeup, you are more likely to fatigue because your fast twitch fibers fatigue easier. Now, that's a positive because you're really explosive in one end, but also negative because you can't do as much training. But the training that you do has to be high quality. And what I mean by high quality is training at high intensity, not training hard. That's two different things. The last 5Ks of a marathon is bloody hard, but it's not high intensity running. You're running quite slow. So that is the difference there. If we're trying to develop bowling speed, we're trying to develop running speed, be more athletic, fatigue is our worst enemy there. So that's why you want to get the most out of our trainings. How we can think about that is on a Monday or a rest day, maybe that's where you get an extra hit in. So on a low day, you want to get an extra hit, stationary hit. If you're poor at fielding, can we get some stationary fielding done as well? We're taking 100 catches, 200 catches on those after our net. That's some way we can get the most out of it and improve our catching. Our slips catching, our up close catching, and also doing some batting. Like maybe we do some technical work on that Monday there. So then we go into Tuesday, we might want to hit a good gym session in the morning when we're a bit fresher, and we do our explosive plyometrics and things like that. And then we get into training on Tuesday, and we can do some running mechanics or some change of direction stuff at the start of our training too as a part of our warm-up. So we're ticking off those qualities of getting faster and more agile. And then in the nets, we might want to look to compete. That might be our compete day. And then we're really just trying to get into the contest, batter versus bowler, working on reactions, working on game-like situations from there. We also might want to do a little bit of conditioning after that session as well. Maybe we want to hit some fartlek, some jog walk. Or if we're feeling pretty fresh, we might want to hit some high intensity running, maybe some 80 meter, 100 meter efforts. Those might be a way how we can keep our gym, our fitness, our running, our change direction, our acceleration stuff all on the same day. Then the next day, we're not doing any of that stuff. We're doing nothing that's fatiguing. We might have a rest. Or what we might go for a recovery swim or a bike. We might have an extra hit again or to take some catches, stationary. Do some mobility. That could be a nice way as well to keep that day nice and low, but also an opportunity that we can still keep it better. We can still keep on improving. But what we're not doing, we're not fatiguing the system. And the same thing goes on a Thursday. We might want to do a more power-based gym session. Then we want to go into our training session. We're going to work on our max velocity sprinting, running drills. Expose ourselves to some top-end sprinting, long rest periods to keep our quality high. So no point doing one 60-minute sprint and then doing another one after a minute rest and our time's going down heaps, because then we're not actually stimulating the body to get better. So high rest periods, and then we're going to have a really sharp, high-intensity bowl where we're getting specific with plans, we're preparing for the week ahead. And then Friday we might have a primer session, and boom, into the weekend we go from there. That's a way how you can balance a week, get the most out of it. It's important to have parts of your training that are designed to make you a better cricketer, a better athlete, and also things that work on your mind as well. Working on your mind, developing qualities that help improve that is super, super important as well. So whether it's implementing training journals or we're doing visualization on the Friday night, those things can be really, really important, really valuable to get the most out of that. In terms of strategies to manage fatigue in season, I think you've got to listen to your body. You need to write down maybe like in your journal every morning or something like that. What's your level of fatigue out of 5 or out of 10? What are your soreness levels? And then if you are noticing that you're pulling up sore from certain amounts of volume in the gym or certain amounts of balls bowled, then that's a cue for us to pull back a little bit. Maybe we are doing a little bit too much. Or if we are feeling like overly fresh, then maybe we could, afford to bite off a little bit more. Or maybe we could do a little bit more. But we're just guessing if we're not actually monitoring these things by writing things down or having it in a Google spreadsheet or something like that, that we can actually just write down some notes. So it doesn't need to be high tech. Maybe just write down a couple of sentences and how you're feeling. And then you can look back on that. And then you can make more informed decisions on how to best balance your week. Rather than just going in, just letting the week come. Let's plan our weeks out in advance. And when we're in like a heavy congested match schedule, like in tournament mode or something like that, then our training loads has to come down, because match day is always the most important thing. We don't want to be great cricket traders. We want to be great cricket players. So making sure that everything we're doing during the week is geared towards us performing on game day. That's the key. Off-season strategy. Our goal is a little bit different. We're not trying to maximise for game day. We're trying to maximise our development, maximise our skill development, maximise our speed, strength, power, our ability to change direction, all those sorts of things. When we don't have games and cricket's not our main priority, then it allows us to be a bit more aggressive on loading. You can actually do more load. You can work on things that induce more soreness. You can have more high days, or your high days can be bigger. We can focus on building more strength. You can get into the gym 3-4 times per week, focusing on lifting heavy weights, more volume. At the start of an off season, I like to do more slower eccentrics, where we're building that work capacity, building that eccentric strength, and that lays the foundation for us to really produce more force later on down the line. As we progress onto the off season, it's important that it's okay being sore, because we don't need to worry about being not sore for games. What we still don't want to be doing, but, is being sore for our sprint work. That's why a high load training is really, really important as well. I don't think we should stop sprint training in the off season. I think it's a perfect opportunity to actually do it without the presence of fatigue. Like if you're bowling 25 overs on a weekend, or you're making hundreds of batting all day, you're going to probably still be fatigued in the week, and sprint training is not going to be optimal. Whereas if we're in the off season, we can really make sprint training a priority, and we can actually have a mini block of, we can almost be like a sprinter. We can almost train like we're doing athletics, and we can really focus on being better runners, better movers, work on a change direction. That's why it's important to do those first in your day, on your high days. And if we're going to do some proper max velocity sprinting, that's 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 meter sprints, that we do those coming off a low day. We don't want to do them off a high day, because we're going to have so much central fatigue, so much nervous system fatigue, and we actually won't be sprinting as fast as we possibly can, which is not what we want. We want to be able to exhibit our maximal speed to develop our speed, which I think is the most important quality to train as a cricketer. Now, that might mean you do your sprint work on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday as well, to keep that same schedule as the in-season in cricket. But you might sprint in the morning, then do your conditioning after your sprint work. So what I'm doing right now, let's say I did 3 60-minute sprints flat out with some technique work and some build-ups and that. And then I finish with my 2 sets of 550-meter like conditioning work as well on the same session. Then I might go home, have some lunch, or go to work. Then after work, I might hit my gym session. And then the next day, I might have it completely off. Or I might do my batting. Or I might do my stationary fielding. And that allows me to recover. And then I can hit it again on Thursday. And then on Saturday from there as well. So you want to be keeping your gym, your running, all on the same day. And then your bowling as well, if you're a bowler. So that's where you do your sprint training before you bowl. It's a great warm-up, and it allows you to do it before you get fatigued. Then you bowl. Then you do your fitness work after that. And then later on, ideally you want to do your gym work. Sometimes that can't happen, but that's the most sort of optimal way to do it then. And then on the off days, the low days is where we can still squeeze so much more out of it. We can work on our mind. As I said before, visualization, understanding us. We can do certain journaling or mindset strategies where we're understanding ourselves better, understanding what makes us tick, what makes us better performers, better athletes, etc. Understanding what motivates us, what sort of fears we have. We can do some of that stuff on ourselves. Once we understand ourselves better, we can understand what makes us tick. That allows us to make better decisions and understand what triggers we may have, or understand why we're feeling a certain way, or why we might be nervous, or why we might be anxious about this game coming up. And then we can, once we understand it better, we can make more informed decisions on how to help you with that. In terms of off-season skill development and that, I think it's really important to have a nice technical block at the start. And beauty of batting and fielding and stationary fielding, that it's not high load, so you can do a lot of it. But it's important to go in to get the most out of your training weeks, to have a focus on it. But that's the key. You can't just go in like willy-nilly and just being like, oh yeah, I might work on this today or something like that. We need to plan our weeks out ahead. And almost need to have a plan for your pre-season. Like, think about maybe in like a 4 or 8 week block, or a 5 or a 10 week block, and think about what you actually want to get out of it. Have a long-term goal of it. I really want to improve my balance, or I really want to improve my play to spin, or whatever. Have an outcome that you actually want to get better at. Same thing with your fitness. Like, I want to get my 2K time trial down. I want to improve my lower body power and get my counter movement jump up to a 50. I want to get my strength up. I want to get my trap bar deadlift up to a 150 kilos. Whatever it is. Have a goal. Set a plan for that. And then from there, your weekly schedule will then look towards how to actually accomplish that. I think that's a really important thing as well. These goals are really important to have. Now, I'm not massive on in-season goals like 40 wickets or 600 runs. Like, everyone wants to score runs. Everyone wants to take wickets. But have specific goals on what qualities you want to actually develop, like playing to spin, or facing short pitch bowling, or work on I want to gain 10 k's of speed, or I want to be able to develop my leg cutter. I want to develop 2 new slow balls. Those things, if we work on those things, if we work on the process of those things becoming more skilled, then you'll take more wickets, make more runs in the long run from there. That's why that's really important. So that is a crucial element of the off-season cricketer, is having some physical goals you want to tick off. We shouldn't be coming back into pre-season or back into cricket training a worse athlete. We need to be absolutely flying. Hitting the gym 3 times per week as a minimum. Running and sprinting 2 or 3 times per week. Doing those on the same days. And then have a plan with our skills is really, really important. Really, really important. And I'll be trying to have days where I'm doing my physical training, hard work, my high days, and then my technical, more skill-based stuff on my low days. And that's how to get the most out of it from a fatigue and performance point of view, as well as probably a skill development point of view as well. One thing that I think is butchered a lot is when people are in rehab. People rest too much. They're standing around training like spare ones doing nothing. It's important in a rehab that, how I like to think of it, I like to want my athlete to think that they're still an athlete. The last thing I want them is to think that they're broken or they're no good to anybody. They can't do anything. I need them to feel athletic still. I need them to still really enjoy the process of getting better. And they need them to have a purpose. Athletes who in rehab with me, I like them to have a purpose. And, I almost give them more stuff to do than if they are in full training. This keeps them busy. It makes them feel like they're getting better. And it's super, super important. It's important in a rehab that, let's say someone's done a shoulder. We can still get them running. We can still work on their running mechanics a lot. Do so much running drills. Do certain hip lock drills. Work on a lot of other, can give them core strength or accessory exercise through accurate training. Number one, it sends a good message to their teammates as well that they're actually getting better and they're looking to improve. But it makes them feel like a part of the team. Like they're there on that common journey of trying to get better, which is what all players kind of want to do. And yes, so let's say I have a knee injury right now. I'll just put on my Instagram story. So Scotty has hurt his knees and knee surgery. And it's one of those ones where a bit frustrating rehab for him where they said they want them surgery. The surgeon wanted to go conservative, so no surgery. And then all of a sudden, about a month later, it wasn't getting better. Then he's gone to surgery. So it's a little bit delayed, his rehab. At training now, he's in the gym with me 3 days per week, and we're smashing his strength and getting all that stuff, progressing that. At training now, he's got about 45 minutes of either running drills, isometric holds, accessory type of exercises, because we're doing a lot of those in the gym. It's sort of a bit of a waste of time. If you're going to spend time with me in the gym, there's no really, I don't need to see you doing crab walks or these fire hydrant little glute exercises and shit like that. Mate, we're wasting our time. Let's hit some of the big rocks and let's get you strong, and let's not waste our time in here. So he's doing those at training, and he was one of the last ones that finished at training last night because I was down at Frankston training, and he loved it. He's like, I feel like I've got so much stuff to do now. I feel athletic again. I feel like this is the stepping stone to get me back in the bowling. I'm like, I fucking oath it is. 100%. He's got his gym sessions Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then he's got his off-lead conditioning and his isometric running drills and stuff like that to do on his low days, on his Tuesdays, Thursdays, and even Saturdays if he can get in there as well. And now he's got a full calendar of stuff on his team builder, of fitness stuff to do. And the worst thing you do when you've had surgery, you're so sedentary as well, and you lose your fitness and that. You lose everything as an athlete sometimes when you really have surgery or you're injured. So having stuff to do and having a fitness plan and an understanding that, we're going to progress this and we're going to really get better at this and start to improve is so important as well. I think that's the thing as well. When you tell someone to completely rest, it's the mindset of rehab. I'm in rehab. I'm broken. I'm not going to get back to where I want to be. But the mindset change of, mate, you can hold a hip lock drill for 30 seconds. Let's do 5 sets. Mate, you can do some wall marches for work on your acceleration. And then what we're I've talked about this before as well, with the rehab, we're drip feeding these qualities that we're going to train later on in high intensity. So we're doing some isometrics for his change of direction. We're doing some basic acceleration type drills. We're working on his max velocity positions. We're working on deceleration components as well. We're doing some med ball stuff as well to help get back into bowling. And this is a link to get back into it. It's not just once you do your squats on your knee, then you can get back into that. No, there's so much more you can do with your rehab. So much more you can do. And that's some of the stuff that I'm really, really passionate about, as you guys can tell. So getting the most out of your week in terms of a rehab point of view as well. If you're ever injured, don't think about what can't I do. Think about what can I do. What can I do? And if it's not hurting your injury, then I reckon it's usually pretty safe. Low impact stuff like cycling or swimming and things like that is absolutely so important. So that's a bit of the recap. How to maximize your training week there. I've got a couple of Q&As to finish off. What's the best way to manage training when feeling sore but not injured? I'm massive on just warming up and seeing how you go. Often, sometimes when we're sitting down, we're stiff, we're sore. You feel yuck. I think it's really important to warm up, do a good proper warm up, extra mobility, run a couple of laps, see how you feel. Typically, if you're stiff in your hammies and things like that, a good warm-up fixes all. And you might just want to have a bit of a lighter night. Simple as that. Bit of a lighter night, not quite bowl as much, not quite do as much running, and then freshen up for the Thursday night training. This is on a Tuesday. How much rest is too much rest during a training week? I'd say if we're just doing Tuesday night training, Thursday training, Saturday game, 4 days off is too much rest. We need to be doing other stuff throughout the week. 2 to 3 days off is all you need. Go-to recovery strategy, it's always sleep. Sleep, good nutrition, hydration, mental relax, and then going out for a walk or doing a bike or a swim are the big rocks there. How do you keep athletes motivated during the off-season when games feel far away? I think it's having a clear, strong purpose and a clear outcome on what we want to improve. That sort of actually ties back into what I said before on setting goals. I want to improve my power. Well then, fucking oath, let's fucking get after it. And we're going to test this in 6 weeks' time now, 4 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time. Are we getting the most out of you here? Setting mini goals is a nice way to keep you motivated during the off-season. Understand why we're doing it. Have a purpose. Same, understand yourself. Understand what makes you tick, and then use that as a way to develop it. Other things I might do is like a combine, or have a testing day coming up where we're working on this. Or setting goals is a great way to do it. Mental strategies to deal with a nagging injury. It can be quite tough mentally. I think it's just, once again, finding purpose and finding pleasure in the process is really, really important. Really, really important with that. Understanding having a clear plan and just like controlling your controllables. There's no point, I think it's about being true with yourself as well. And sulking or whinging about things isn't going to make your knee get better. But what will is showing up to every session with the right mindset, having a crack, staying positive, and have that mindset of not what can I do, what can I do? What are things that I can do? Because you're not broken. You just have one injury. So there's more stuff you can do. And that's how I like to set it up there. How do you handle training weeks with unexpected events like travel, fatigue, disrupt the normal routine? We just go with the flow and do the best with any situation. Look at the big rocks that we need to do, and we try to tick them off. But, one training week that isn't ideal, it's not the end of the world. And when things don't go your way, when things happen, there's always going to be stuff popping up in life. So this happens all the time, and it's just about riding the wave, finding out what the big rocks are, what's important to you and in your train, help you best prepare for the weekend, and let's hit them. Sometimes we might, so let's say for me, I'm traveling this week, I'm going to, instead of do upper lower gym sessions, I'm going to do a full body on Thursday, because I'm not going to get me extra upper body session on the Friday. Things like that. If you're traveling or you're nagging injury, you're not bowling on Tuesday, we might have a bit bigger bowl on the Thursday. Just about riding the wave, and just whatever the most important things are for you, make sure you get them ticked off. And the small rocks, don't worry about them too much, and we just get back on the horse next week. That is the end of the podcast today. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you got something out of it to help maximize your training week to get the absolute most out of it. Please, if you are interested in some coaching from me, the link is down below in the bio to apply for my online coaching or in-person coaching. Please click subscribe, leave a review, and if you really like the podcast, and please share it with friends. If you liked this podcast or another podcast that I've done as well, send it to a friend or a teammate. Send it to your career club if you think they might get something out of that. If your career club's getting better, it makes your life a whole lot easier, then you can perform so much better yourself. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.